Do is simply cap that club up, put a red end cap in there, and set it into the hosel. Now with the glue, it's a very slippery substance. What we want to do is make sure that it bonds to the hosel and the shaft appropriately. So just to make sure I don't have any excess, I'm going to simply just use my acetone here. I'm going to clean out the hosel of each of these clubs. Make sure that there's not going to be any loose particles. Stages. I've prepped the club, measured the swing weight, I've trimmed it to the appropriate length. The last thing to do right now is to glue them together. So I'm going to use what we call the 810 glue. This is that acrylic. We got the 810 glue. I can guesstimate about what I'm going to need for about 2 clubs. That should be about good. Start from there and simply start mixing this together. I start with the hybrid. Just going to roll it in here. Get a nice big clump on the head there and apply it inside the club. Again, we're just going to roll the club in there. And simply apply it in. Again, one of the other touches that we do again is just turning down the graphics, making sure it's facing away from the player, and simply wipe it clean. And now that club is ready to be dried. The graphics have been turned down, and we will move over to our heater. Simply apply it into the heater just below the ferrule there, and we'd hit the number 3, which is the corresponding number. That sets it for 10-minute timer. This club, from start to finish, as I mentioned, 20 to 25 minutes, they could be playing that club. We'll leave that to dry. We'll move back to the driver. I'm going to start with the driver and get this glued up here. Put down the 1 gram weight that we measured for down into the hosel. And I'm going to roll the shaft back in the epoxy. I'm going to simply push that weight all the way down to till it sets. Check the graphics one more time for the players, and then wipe to clean. And this time, for our ping setup, what we have here is we have 2 drivers and 2 fairways and hybrids over here. I'm going to push the number 1 button. Again, 10 minutes. It should be ready to go. The driver's nice and dry. The hybrid also is ready. The next step, we've got the swing weight, we've got them dry and ready to hit. Now we need to grip it. And a lot of the manufacturers that you might see, or the golf shops that do any kind of repair on golf equipment, you might notice that they use what's called 2-inch tape, and it wraps completely around. One of the reasons we don't do that is because we feel like it might leave a spine that you would feel. So Ping still to this day uses the proprietary spinning technique to the top end of that at about a 45-degree angle. We don't want to have any overlay. Pull back the tape. Simply make sure there's a nice even gap, as close as you can. Spin it all the way down. Not only does that create a nice smooth surface, but it also covers the entire club. Just put it down here, snap it off, and simply spin the tape around the back end and seal it so that when the clubs are sitting in the bag, there's no moisture getting inside the club. That is prepped and ready to go, and let's move on to the hybrid. And place the club with the toe of the club facing straight up into the air. Get it lined up on my air vise here and lock it in. I'll take my grip. I'm going to apply solution to it on the inside. It's a TPC formula, just to get the solvent throughout the entire grip. And I'm going to simply pour it onto the tape here to make sure it bonds. Turn it up so the graphics of the grip and also the reminder. Ping has ribbed grips, and we're going to use the eye and Ping along to the back end line. Make sure that's nice and square for the player. And there you go. Now that grip is all on, We're going to come over here to our ferrule burner. We're going to place the club on the spinning rack here. And we're going to burn it off to make sure that it's nice and smooth for the player. There's no rough edges, and it's nice and smooth. As you can see, it's kind of rough and not very shiny. That's where we go on to the acetone. Take some fresh acetone on our cloth here. We simply take it from the start and we move it from left to right, and it simply cleans off and gives you that nice finished store look. As you can see, very shiny and ready to go. And that completes the metal wood production.